meet with Sean last week, and I told him that we will definitely be keeping our eye on that because there are monies for water that are going to be available, and we will work with the city on how we can try to secure those for our city. Our requests were valid and looked upon favorably. However, with other funding sources becoming available, we are encouraged to look at those resources. So like I said, once during that infrastructure bill, we will be looking on that. Other significant legislation that's going on right now is the AB 455, which is the vaccine passport and employer vaccine mandate bill. Initially, it was going to be pushed via a gut and amend of the original AB 455. However, it will not be pushed. It will most likely come back in the 2022 session. There is another bill that has been presented to the governor for signature on housing development, and it has to do with 2 residential units with a single-family residence. And another bill that might be of interest is the SB 156, which has to do with communication broadband, part of a $6 billion broadband plan. So that will expand the state's internet. Looking ahead for the state, now is the time for our team to sit with city leadership and develop a strategic plan to pursue state funding opportunities in the fiscal year 22 to 2023. While it seems early, it's important to develop the plan to pursue variable options now and carry them through the midterm recess into the next session. We will continue to make Coalinga relevant and politically connected. So as I said, with the election, and I believe there's going to be some redistricting and things like that, so things will change, but we will be on the forefront of all of that. Federal infrastructure, the Senate overwhelmingly approved the $1 trillion infrastructure bill in early August. The House aims to pass the bill by October. Through this bill, California is looking to secure over $44 billion in infrastructure funds. Over $34 billion will be for highways and public transit. We are monitoring the process of this opportunity and will keep the city appraised. So that has to do with our lobbying and advocacy. And now to move on to economic development. Most cities don't have a recognizable name like Los Angeles or even Fresno. Because of this, developers look up where a city is located on Google Maps. When you search for a city, there are photos on that page. Many of these photos are ones the city have randomly posted of rundown areas or undesirable locations. Photos play a strong role in how developers view the city. Rather than being immediately turned off by such pictures, we have flipped the script and given Coalinga a positive overview by drawing people in with photos of beautiful parts of our city. At the beginning of the year, Coalinga's hits were in the hundreds. Today, we have over 329,000 views on photos that we posted just 4 months ago. This helps play a big role when we reach out to developers, stores, restaurants, etc., when trying to bring in new economic development to our city. We've been working with a large list of targets that we are reaching out to, which includes automobile venues such as CarMax and Enterprise. Several developers are on our list, entertainment venues like bowling and race carts, fitness venues, movie theaters, hotels, medical offices, and including over a dozen grocery stores, nearly 50 restaurants, and over 40 stores such as Home Depot, Kirkland's, Party City, Target, and many others. While we have received a few not interested at this time responses, we will continue to keep in touch with them. As Ben Franklin said, energy and persistence conquer all things, and we will definitely be pursuing on even if we get a no. That means no today, it doesn't mean no tomorrow. There are a handful of restaurants that are interested in Coalinga, such as Pizza Hut, Fat Brands, which includes Fat Burger, Johnny Rockets, and Round Table Pizza, and Yum Brands, which include Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, and The Habit. Given the rise of the cost of construction, many of the companies are looking for a second-generation type restaurant which we are low on inventory right now in Coalinga on that. Many of these companies are also franchises, so we are looking at interested franchisees. A lot of these companies have reached out to their list of franchisees to see if anybody wants to open up another area here in Coalinga, and possibly we could work on working with the city to get that out to your community members to see if anybody within the community wants to open up a franchise, and we will work with them through that process. We understand that Coalinga will have a booth at ICSC next year, hoping that it moves forward as this year's ICSC was canceled in Las Vegas. Our firm has expertise in attending this event, as we have done so for over a decade and a half. There is a strategic planning that goes on, knowing who to meet and when, and drawing attention to our booth. We look forward to working with the city during this event as well, and reaching out to many of the venues that are on our list that we have been targeting. So that is what we've been doing, and I don't know if anybody on council has any questions regarding.
Council, do you have any questions? Okay, any questions from the audience at all? For lobbyists?
Hold on, I'm going to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there a way to have a quarterly report from you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay. The reason why I brought this forward is because Huron seems to be raking in millions. Senator Caballero will give them whatever they want. Senator Caballero can't find Coalinga on a map. And it's really concerning to me that we're paying a lot of money and we don't seem to be getting anything in return. So this is one of the reasons why I brought it forward. And I also question our economic development. If it's a waste of money right now, that's what I want to know. So I'd like to see a quarterly report, because it doesn't seem like we're getting anything in return for our money at this time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I will say, Jason Segan of our office, he is in contact with Caballero's office and all of our electeds, Valadeo as well, just trying to get, speaking with them, trying to move things forward in that. And I know, like I said, because of the water issue and because that was into a bigger infrastructure plan, we didn't get the ask that we wanted, but we're definitely going to be working on next year's budget to see what we can do. As far as economic development goes, these things don't happen immediately. They do take time. We've been successful in many cities such as Corcoran and Selma and Lemoore, and it has taken between 2 to 3 years to get certain things in between, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Little Caesars, gas station. It does take time and persistence. The good thing is we do have a lot of people, a lot of these venues that are interested in Coalinga, and it's just a matter of getting them a property and an area and possibly interested franchisees. So we will definitely be pursuing it, especially the ones that have already showed favorable interest. And like I said, I do believe that the pictures that we've put on Google also help, because that's how a developer, when they're looking up, when we reach out to them and they might not know where Coalinga is, they look it up and they see that it's a wonderful community and that they want to be there. And we also give them a bigger picture than, this is what our population is. And sometimes they'll look and they'll say that's too small of a population. But we've given them a bigger picture that, we have a lot of prisons that are in the area. There's visitors that come there. There's workers that are there. There's 24-hour shifts. And there's a lot more people coming through our city than what it might show, in black and white. So we have been working on that as well. But we will definitely be giving a quarterly report for sure.
Question. Yeah, because a lot of people think that I-5 is Coalinga, that little shopping thing. I would actually like to see the Coalinga city limits expand that way. I mean, we're in middle of I-5, and not only that, we got Huron Avenue, a lot of neighboring ranches as well, and we do get a lot of labor workers coming in now. This is one of the most years that they came in, and they can't buy nothing. So, as the years pass, if they can't buy nothing, then other companies are going to be like, well, sorry. so we need to, kind of push it more. We do have a lot of land. There is a lot of land, so that we could get, other businesses in here. So, it's, in a lot of the population, whether it goes somewhere else, it's different areas like Los Gatos, Mineral Springs. We got to get those going as well. Getting together with the county, Fresno County, that doesn't pay attention to Los Gatos Park, that used to be a beautiful park, and now it's, excuse my language, crap. And I go up there, I saw a baby deer and a mama deer dead. I think we need to get to with the county, make sure that we're taking care of these outside parks and outside, properties getting going where it actually attracts people as well in here. So.
Absolutely. I fully agree with you, and I know that there is a lot of land. I was actually speaking to a developer yesterday about Coalinga, and I know we've sent an email regarding that the cost of construction has gone up. The developer I was talking to yesterday, there was a parcel here in Coalinga that he was looking at with someone else. It didn't pan out financially for him. Part of it is because he said that metal has gone up 50% in just a year. I mean, I know that the wood has also gone up for home builders, but also for commercial, it's gone up. Now, that is not precluding him from considering Coalinga. He just needs to know that and be able to prepare when purchasing, land. So I know that there's some landowners that might think that their land is worth a little bit more than what it is. So, helping to work with some people that have land would help. And I've also encouraged, if there's any city property that the city could, be willing to sell at a good price. And I know, some cities, they might have a different idea of what they want to do with a piece of property, but turning it over to economic development will bring other restaurants, other stores, other economic development into your city. So while you might think that, well, this isn't what we planned for this property, but it could bring a lot of things in. We've seen, places like Big League Dreams where they were built on a landfill, right? Nobody wanted that land. They built it on a landfill. And it was over $80 million in economic development later, that the city was thankful that came in. So sometimes we just have to think a little bit bigger, but we're definitely looking at everything, exploring all our options, trying to think outside of the box. So
Yeah, because as a football coach, coaching for years, the teams, the people, they come into town when they come into our town. They love the town. They love it, and they say they will be back. But there's nowhere what to do, or that's the whole thing. And I think that's a lot of things we should focus on. We do get a lot of people that really love this town.
absolutely. And we know, and even like you said, being off of 5, you've got the traffic coming in from Northern and Southern California. So
And with the prison,
we
they reroute
understand.
the other way. Maybe they could reroute this way.
right.
So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having us, and thank you for, having me speak a little bit later. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next we'll go to item number 3, Employee of the Month for August 2021, Account Clerk Yasmin Gonzalez.
Good evening, Council. I'm really proud to stand here before you to present the Employee of the Month as Account Clerk from the Finance Department, Yasmin Gonzalez. Yasmin has been a loyal City of Coalinga employee for 4 years. She's a diligent worker and a team player. In addition to managing her new business within the City of Coalinga, Yasmin continues to maintain her full-time duties here at the city. She is very knowledgeable and is a great resource to other staff. Yasmin's hard work does not go unnoticed, and we would like to take the time to commend her hard work and dedication to the city and our community. I can say that Yasmin and I started on the first day. So imagine Yasmin starting and a Jasmine starting. And the only difference is her name starts with a Y and mine starts with a J. But I'm really proud to stand here before you and commend her on the hard work that she's done. I've seen her grow from being quiet Yasmin, and now, anytime we can't figure something out, we always go to Yasmin because Yasmin has all the answers and she knows how to fix everything. And so I'm really proud of you. And I think she has a few words she wants to say.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. So thank you, Jasmine, for your kind words. I've never felt unappreciated. You always remind us of how hard we work and what good workers we are, but I appreciate the recognition. It's very rewarding to serve the community I was raised in, and thankfully I have a great support system at home that allows me, when I walk in these doors, I can give 110%. And I'm grateful to work for the city alongside a great team. I think that with positive attitudes, we can better serve our citizens, and I look forward to more years of service with the city. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jasmine. Thank you again, Jasmine. Okay, next we'll go public safety flag presentation. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. We had planned on giving you guys this flag in conjunction with the department picture from both agencies. However, our picture taker is MIA and we can't get our pictures from her. So instead of this going to waste and being lost in my garage, we have decided to present you with the flag with both of our agencies' name on it. This represents our commitment to the city and to the people of this community, and that we will do our very best to protect and serve and do what we got to do to get the job done. So on behalf of the fire chief and I, we present the city of Coalinga with this flag.
Thank you very much, and we'll find a great place to put that.
I just wanted to say that over the year that I've been here so far, getting to know Darren on a personal level as well as a professional level, it's a true partnership between police and fire. And when he came up with this idea, I was 100% on board. So this is for you guys. Thank you.
We're gonna find a really good spot to put that too, so.
Actually took down
Actually,
our
we
old
took
picture
down that one.
and sticker it.
Okay,
Can we get a picture with council with this?
yes, I think so. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break, so if anybody wants to get up and do anything they need to do, go ahead and take a break. Do you want us to come down there? Or do you- okay.
And put, right here behind you.
Can you guys get closer? Yes. Okay, I'll send it to you guys. Did you get a good picture, Mary? I was gonna take one for myself, but I got distracted over there.
Which one got pulled? 6-3? And then 6-4 getting pulled? 6-3 and 6-4 getting pulled?
No, just 6'4".
Just 6'4".
Yeah. Was it the same thing?
Yeah. Larry just had, he needed more time to figure out what configuration changed. Then Jamie fixed the it wasn't recognizing certain IPs. I don't know, some network thing. It works now.
Peterson.
But I gotta well, he's blocked enough to get it.
I think he just ran the rest of it.
Wait, is the only thing on the ARPA thing? Is that a more general discussion, or is that?
Oh, it's right next time.
It's the one from last time, but I added additional language. But the ask is still the same thing.
So there's no. It's still.
Let him know
It's still for the employees only. We'll figure out the other stuff later.
it was just
So you have your problem.
Yeah. Like all those shorter names. Yeah, it's good. It automatically connects back up. So yeah.
Really?
So you're good to go. I loaded up the site for you too, so you're ready to go.
Wow.
When Jasmine was talking about Yasmin, so Yasmin has this notebook, and like if you want to know what happened like years ago, she's like, oh, let me go look in the notebook. And she can tell you exactly what it was, what happened, what day.
Like just in the office.
Not like
Yeah.
people, but it's like if there was an issue with someone's water or something, and then it got resolved, and it's like a complex thing. She's like, oh, I don't remember what we did. Let me go back to my notes, and she's kept notes of like difficult things and how she resolved it, and like things like that.
Smart.
How are the kids, Ray?
Good. She had a volleyball game.
Oh no.
I got the first game. And then she got a tournament this weekend. And a softball game after that. And
Where's the tournament at?
it's in Crothers. So I got
Oh, it's local.
Yeah. Crothers back to Hanford. And
My son has a soccer tournament this weekend too, but we had made in Salinas.
oh, wow.
But we are going to Vegas, so we are missing his tournament.
Oh, yeah. See, those are hard. They're hard. I feel you on those.
And I hate that. Like I like being at all of their games. And he's in college, and I still want to be at all his games.
But no, that's yeah. He's made it that far. You definitely want to be there. Yeah.
I just want to make one announcement. We're back live. We were having problems with our live stream, so I think we're back on and everything. They've got voice and everything now too. So watch what you say. Okay, we're going to hold up just for a minute until our council gets back. We'll be right back.
Legal counsel.
Our legal.
Yeah. I knew what he meant. Yeah. Could be the same thing. It's spelled differently.
Mhm. Oh. Yeah, it looks like all of our computers are back up too. High school or popcorn?
No, seniors on popcorn.
You were holding up the minute.
I told him to start without me.
But you go.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and start back right now. We're going to go to item number 3, citizens' comments. This item of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify themselves, and use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes, and in accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening, and all items will be referred to staff for a follow-up report. Citizens' comments submitted in writing to the city clerk by 5 o'clock on the day of the city council meeting shall be distributed to the city council and included in the record. However, they will not be read. Is there anybody who'd like to address the council? Okay, Scott?
Good evening, Council. Scott Netherton, Director for Coalinga Area Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to mention again, I know last few meetings I mention it every time, September 11th is around the corner, and we are helping put on a memorial for the 20th anniversary. We're asking everybody that can be there to arrive by 8:15 at where we raise the garrison flag. We will have the color guard from Pleasant Valley there to help us out. We will be recognizing all of our first responders. We've ordered some real nice tribute pins for them, and we would like to have everybody there, invite you all that can come. Expect it to last about an hour and a half or so, but I think we need to pull together on a important day like this and support those who have given so much. I also, when is our bigger fire truck coming? Do we know?
Our ladder truck?
It's scheduled for about November.
Of next year or this year?
No, this year.
Okay. Anybody have a 100-foot ladder I can borrow? I'm trying to get a solar light on top of that flagpole so we can start leaving our flag up overnight.
What size is Lemore's ladder truck? Is theirs 80?
I think theirs is 80 also.
Yeah.
Well, we can find out. We might be able to get Fresno County fires as well.
Right.
Or somebody
There's a couple of them that are 100 feet. Our new one's going to be 100
Yeah.
feet, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Or if we can borrow somebody really light, I got a bosun chair. We can tie it to a bumper and pull 'em up. All right. But seriously, anyone that can come, we would love to have you. On a personal note, is Scott Netherton, 424 College Avenue. I have mentioned in the past about the money that has been given and the possibility of our staff being given bonuses. I just want to again reiterate my personal opinion. That's great about America. You can have your opinion. I believe they deserve, what they're asking for. They're not asking for the full 25. They've agreed to a middle ground. A lot of them at the higher end, it won't benefit them. But a lot of those at the lower end, that means a lot to their family. It really does. And a lot of times I've heard a lot of negativity on Facebook, people commenting about, well, the doors weren't open, they weren't, but they were still doing their job, just like all of you were. And as a citizen, my opinion, I would like to see them be given the $12,000 they're requesting, but we elected you to make that decision, and that's my opinion. I feel that we got to take care of those that take care of us. So thank you all, and I hope to see you next Saturday. Have a good night.
What time did you say the memorial thing, or the memorial and flag raising is?
Yes.
What time?
We're asking everybody to be there by 8:15. The flag will go up at 8:30 to full mast. At 8:46, when the first tower was struck, we'll lower it down to half mast, and then our ceremony will begin from there. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Robin?
Good evening, council. I had actually emailed this to Shannon because I didn't think I was going to be here tonight, but I made it back in time, so I figured I'd pull it and read it myself. So here goes. Good evening, council. I actually had a lot to say regarding the proposed premium pay for city staff, but instead of pointing fingers and alienating people, I just want to say this. I understand that Marissa, being the kind of boss that she is, she wanted her employees to feel recognized and appreciated for showing up, for coming to work instead of opting to stay home and collecting COVID pay unemployment. And we do appreciate that. Because there are lots of people out there who are still taking advantage of the system and leaving employers hanging with deficient staffing. It's not that I or the many others who feel the same think that the city staff don't deserve any premium pay. We do, but we also think that $12,000 across the board is unjustifiable when other essential city staff were on the front lines being exposed every day and getting COVID, bringing COVID back home. It just seems like a slap in the face to them because a lot of our people did get sick. If anyone gets the recommended pay, it should be our first responders, our police department, fire department, public works, and those who actually contracted COVID due to exposure from being an essential employee, because they are our true heroes of our community. But my question is, why are we rushing to spend the money? It doesn't and didn't have to be decided right away. Many of us are asking to have this either tabled again with more justifiable calculations being brought back to our council, or bring back the entire 4.1 million to council for discussion and recommendation, and actually include our council and community members in the process this time around. Lastly, I want to point out how utterly unprofessional and in poor taste it was for city staff and their family members who stand to profit from this money in question to be attacking, belittling, and attempting to cancel community members on social media for expressing their opinions. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Anybody else? Okay, with that, we'll go to item number 4, public hearings. We have none. We go to item number 5, consent calendar. We have 8 items. Number 1 is approval of minutes of August 19th, 2021. Number 2 is the check register for July 1st to July 31st. Number 3 is approved purchase of 2 pressure regulating valves for the Derrick bypass. Number 4, consideration of bid award for 2021 rubberized cap seal project. Number 5, authorize assistant city manager to source and purchase a bucket truck for the Public Works Department. Number 6, authorize to source new vehicles under the city existing fleet management contract with Enterprise. Number 7, adopt resolution number 4044, establishing the fire reserve and per diem pay scale. Number 8, approve lease agreement with Fresno County Fire Protection and staff and ambulance at the Station 93 in Huron. Is there anything anybody would like to pull?
Number 3.
Number 3? Anybody else?
Number 8.
Number 8? Anything else? Okay, we'll go to item number, is there anything anybody from the audience like to pull? Okay, not seeing any. We'll go to number 3. And that's approved 2 pressure regulating valves for Derrick bypass.
I just want to make sure Sean has the appropriate money that he needs, but I'm going to let him talk real quick.
Yeah, just quick. There's actually 3 items we were looking to purchase. We were unable to obtain price quotes prior to the meeting or to the staff report being drafted. And typically, all these purchases are part of one project, which our spending power is $20,000 for budgeted items. And since this particular additional item is part of this project, although it's only $1,800 in addition to the $35,000, we wanted to just, for full transparency, wanted to include this as part of the authorization for an additional $1,800 for an additional butterfly valve at the Derrick bypass. So it's all part of the same project, but we just hadn't received the quotes yet back. So the total authorization will be the $1,800 in addition to the 35,094.
In addition. Okay. Okay, and number 8, approve a lease agreement with Fresno County Fire Protection District and staff and ambulance at Station 93 in Huron. What would you like to know?
Is there gonna be like a contract? Is there gonna be a contract, like how far, how long?
So the contract is in the staff report. It's with the Fresno County Fire Protection District to staff our people at Station 93 in Huron. The way it's written is for 3 years, but that's before we found out about the state funding for Huron to build us a facility. So I've already talked to the fire chief for Fresno County Fire, and he said that anytime we need to cancel this agreement, he has no problem with it whenever our facility is built there. So essentially it's for 3 years, but we can get out of it at any time.
Within that 3 years, do you plan on getting more ambulances or just the one?
So they're gonna, from what I've heard, is they're going to purchase us one and build us the facility. But my staff is also telling me that we need to replace one at the fire station that we can use IGT money for down the road. But we will only have one ambulance in Huron.
Is that gonna go further from the district? And
So that area, the Huron area, covers multiple zones within that area. And so out of that area, there is zones 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10, with Huron being zone 9. So not only does it cover the city of Huron, it covers those other zones outside that area as well.
And we're actually in a contractual deal with Fresno County. That's our area anyway. So, and we haven't been able to cover it because we haven't been able to afford an extra ambulance to do that and stuff. And then we've had some problems in the past getting them over there and stuff. But with the new chief and the new way he wants to do everything, we're working it out really good. And I think it's going to work out really good. Now, are we going to, if that ambulance does go someplace and has to leave the area, are we going to replace it?
No, Kalinga will be top priority, and we will always have 3 ambulances covering Kalinga. So
Okay.
Huron will not be a must cover, but Kalinga will be a must cover. So if for some reason Kalinga's all 3 ambulances go and Huron is in Huron, we will pull the Huron ambulance to come back and cover Kalinga. Kalinga will always be covered.
Okay.
there won't be, will there be any extra staff being hired for the?
So in order to keep the 3 ambulances here in Kalinga, my proposal is to hire a 12-hour ambulance to cover the peak times and days of that time. So we always have 3 ambulances here, but doing the data, it doesn't support a 24-hour car right now. But a 12-hour car would be more beneficial. And then we can always keep the 3 ambulances in Kalinga while staffing Huron. So in essence, we're going from 2 ambulances when I first started to now we're gonna have 4 ambulances.
And we're actually gaining revenue because we're actually being able to accept those areas where we've had to turn them down in the past, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's approximately, running the data from 2017 to current, it averages $350,000 to $400,000 a year in potential revenue in those zones.
And then we weren't able to cover that, but now we are. so.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any
Thank you.
questions?
Nope.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, with that, do I have a vote for the consent calendar?
Make a motion to pass the consent calendar with the additional funds that Sean was asking for, 1,800. Is that right? I think that still keeps you within your spending, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just that when we're purchasing items and even though they're all under the individual 20, if they're all part of one project.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
So essentially it's just allowing additional fund, just the additional authorization.
okay.
Is that 1,800 for each valve?
No, it's just for one valve. I think it's a 10-inch valve.
But you need 2 of them, right?
No, I already have the two are being requested. We hadn't received the quote for the third one yet. So we received that quote. So I just wanted to add it to the authorization.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Councilman Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Singleton,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
And I vote aye. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to item, excuse me, item number 6, ordinance presentation, discussion, and potential action items. Number 1 is discussion and potential action related to adding a crosswalk on Elm Street near Dollar General. Who's got
And this was a future agenda item by Councilman Ramirez. Did you have any questions? I have some information for you, but I can.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to see if we could put one there and also add a warning sign for the one that's by the gym. There's cars that don't see it, and by the time they see the lights, it's a little bit too late. But
Oh, there's a flashing light there, but it doesn't work right now. They're having
Yeah.
some problems with that, getting it fixed. So.
yeah, I know some kids were trying to cross, and it's like cars are coming around the corner, but they don't have no warning that light's going on, and they just assume.
We have been hammering on the contractor to come out and trying to get subs out here. That we have the contractor, I think, on 3 projects in town right now, but Polk, that's part of the Forest Street project, and unfortunately, they're just about done. It's just we're waiting on PG&E, and so trying to get a sub out to fix the lights has been challenging. But we've been in constant communication with them, and I think that one of our upcoming projects, I think they're going to be on that project as well. So we'll make sure that we're pushing them hard to make sure that they're trying to get those fixed. So we can look at that. In terms of the crosswalk at Dollar General, we are in constant communication with Caltrans on their large Complete Streets project that's going to be proposed there on Elm Avenue from 5th all the way to Cambridge. And so we'll be working with them as they go through developing their plans and their designs to look at these mid-block crossings and look at these areas that we need to address. And that was one that was already on our radar as well. So we've been having those communications with them, but I'll continue to plant the seed with them as they go through their planning phases.
All right, that's okay. Is the one with the 55 and older apartment little complex, are they gonna put some lights there in a crosswalk for them to cross when they gotta go to the store?
Across the street from the college, which one?
The senior citizen
I
center
think
on
that one.
Forest.
I think they've recently put in a crosswalk there. There should be a crosswalk right there, just down they connected the sidewalk further to the west, and there should be a crosswalk. I'm not sure if they put the RFBs up, but there should be a crosswalk right there in front of the Coalinga Market.
Yeah.
So I think it's already completed and striped.
I think lights, I think lights would be nice for them because,
Okay, we can look at that too.
okay. All right.
Yeah, and we're not, he said we're not going to sign off on any of those projects until those things are done too.
They will be fixed before we sign off, yes.
Exactly.
Is that including the Wavy Street?
The Wavy Street.
Yeah, all of Polk, that they did a very crappy job.
The city engineer, actually, we convinced him to purchase the similar equipment Caltrans uses for standards on paving. So we will be looking at that. So if it's within the thresholds of Caltrans standards, we will hold them to it. This is also an issue that we're addressing on Phelps Avenue as well.
Yeah, it's one of the only streets you don't need a speed bump. It's literally, it's that bad.
It was a difficult road. I've talked with the city engineer about that. But yes, there is some noticeable areas, and so we will be doing. They'll be doing the inspection on both that road and and Phelps.
Okay, well, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Okay, next we'll go to item number 2, discussion and direction and potential action item regarding reinstating crossing guards positions.
Thank you. So this item's on the agenda to have a discussion with council to determine if you are interested in reinstating the crossing guard positions. The city previously employed crossing guards to provide traffic control and safe crossing for students around the Coalinga-Huron Unified School District schools. These crossing guards reported to the school resource officer or other assigned police officer and/or members of the police department. The city had approved 3 crossing guard positions through fiscal year 2017, and the positions were then eliminated. We had 2 of the positions filled, and when the employees left that occupied those positions, we had advertised them for a very long time and no one applied. It was very difficult because they were paid minimum wage, and it's a split shift where they would work an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, so it wasn't an ideal position for very many people. the school district has expressed that they are interested in us reinstating the crossing guard positions. Ideally, they would like 6. They are willing to fund half. They would be city employees, so we'd have a total of 6 if that's what council desires, with the city funding 3 and the school district paying for 3. The cost per crossing guard, if we paid them a little bit above minimum wage to entice them for the position, it would be about $9,000 per position. So the cost to the city's general fund would be about $27,000. So I just would like to know if the council has an interest in doing that. If so, then I'll continue discussions with the superintendent and the school district and bring back something for council to formally approve, if that's the direction you want to go.
Yeah, excuse me. Last year, I actually volunteered and I got a sign from the police department to volunteer as a crossing guard right there in front of the high school. And I think it was needed very badly. I mean, because a lot of times the kids were really good when you would control them, you know, and stuff. But a lot of times the kids would run out in front of them or people weren't even paying attention. Everybody's just, it's hard sometimes. And so I was out there all last year and then they wanted me to do it again this year, but I was in a situation where I can't do it right now. And I had to turn them down, but I think this would be really a good program and it's not going to cost us that much and it's going to help the city out and it's going to take care of our kids. And six is not very much. In fact, when I was a little kid, I was a crossing guard then and we had these little white things that we had on and we actually got extra stuff for being a crossing guard. We got out earlier and we did a lot of stuff. I mean, it helped a lot. And sounds funny, but it was fun in those days. But nowadays, everybody has something in their hand. You know, they have a computer in their hand and stuff. So and a lot of the kids still do that, and they don't even pay any attention to walking when you have to tell them to stop a lot of times. So I think it's a good program to try to get back into, and we're only paying for half, and I think it's a good program. So anybody?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is safety, definitely. And we don't want to make that mistake of waiting until something happens and then try to react. So sure, I mean, 100%, I think is definitely needed because these are kids' focus is not on the road. It's on their phone. Half of them are running late. So yeah, I think they need that extra guidance out there.
Anyone else?
Yeah, same here. I believe 100% that safety for kids, and not only the kids, as well the parents walking these kids, making sure there's a lot more kids walking now, a lot more kids, and being prepared like that would help the city. Where were you gonna place?
So we don't determine the placements. The school district determines the placements, and then our police department provides the training, the vests, the signs, cones if they need them, and the school district will prioritize where they want them. So there will be like a priority 1 zone, and so if that person is absent, then the 6th person who's at the lowest priority zone will be moved so that their most desired areas will be covered.
Okay.
Who are these crossing guards going to be employed by, the city or the school district?
They would be employed by the city.
So no way they can be employed by the school district? So we don't have to take on the lawsuits or anything that may come up if something happens?
We could attempt to do that. They've always, in the past, they were employees of the city because they are trained by the police department. But we can ask if it can be flipped, and instead of them paying us $27,000 a year, we can pay them $27,000 a year, and they would employ them. We could still assign the school resource officer to provide them training. They just wouldn't report to the school resource officer.
Will there be some training if the city does pick it up? Will there be some training for them and everything like that? Make sure that something like that doesn't occur.
Yeah, so there's whether they were our employees or the school district employees, they would receive training.
Okay, do I have a motion or?
Can I, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it the desire of the council for them to be school district employees?
What's going to be the cost difference between them and us paying?
There's not necessarily a cost difference. It would either be they write us a check for $27,000 roughly a year, or we write it to them. The city does pay unemployment costs dollar for dollar. A lot of people don't realize that. So we don't pay into unemployment insurance as a public employer. So there may be some costs if one of them was laid off, that we would have ongoing costs that would be the full responsibility of the city, but the cost would be minimal because of their wages. So that is something to think about. I mean, in that instance, it may be better if they were school district employees because they would bear that cost.
And the liability.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, if the school is willing to take that, sure. If not, I think it should still be a go. I mean, you can see what the school's takes on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think you ought to just bring it up in conversation if you can get them to do it, to do it. But if not, I think we can take on the responsibility too.
Okay.
So which motion would you need? Just
Now, would they be, if they were with Kalinga, would they be under the police department?
If they were hired by the city, they would be part of the police department, yes. I don't need a motion, I just need direction that you want to continue down this path.
Yes,
And that's a
yes.
consensus of the council.
Yeah. And you'll bring this back to us too, once you make a contract with them, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So if they're under the PD, hey chief, do they get guns or stingers or something like that?
They get lasers. And it's, yeah. I got the stop sign, but they didn't give me a vest. Okay. Next, number 3, council approval of project scope for work of expenditures related to California Park per capita program. Sean?
Sorry, I got comfortable.
Make it short.
I'll walk up there. Oh, jeez. You guys are brutal. All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight we're following up on a resolution that Council approved last year regarding the $177,000 in parks per capita funding through Prop 68. These are kind of entitled funds. These aren't the big $188 million in dollar funds that people are competitively going after. And so what we're coming tonight with is basically a scope of work. So what we're looking at in our 2 parks that the city owns to move forward to finalize our applications and get those submitted to the state by the end of the year in order to retain that funding and do the improvements. Originally back in 2020, we had talked about some potential amenities out at Centennial Park and Sandalwood Park related to outdoor pavilions, some additional benches, shade structures, picnic benches, trash cans. And we found as we started looking at a full scope, this equipment is extremely expensive. Park equipment is extremely expensive. And as we started looking at alternatives to try to fit within the budget as we're trying to kind of equitably share funding amongst both parks, is that we looked at a company called Greenfields Outdoor Fitness. They do small space outdoor fitness packages, which include 7 stations and signage at each park. It would be installed on a concrete slab, and the city would also install a large shade structure over the outdoor fitness area. And then I provided a copy of, oh, well, look at that. It's up on the screen. So that's an example of what we would be looking at in terms of the 7 stations. And that would fit within our budget for each park. So we're looking at this type of facility at both Sandalwood and Centennial Park, get people outdoors, a little more activity. Not everyone may have the funds available to go to the gym. This would allow them to go be outdoors. This is something that actually a lot of people have talked about as we try to complete our trail system, that this type of equipment could be really beneficial along the trail system in the future as well. So it's kind of a good outdoor activity for folks, and it'll have shade when it's even a little bit warmer and that sun's even hot in the wintertime. So with that, staff's just recommending and just kind of getting the council's concurrence to move forward with this scope. We'll finalize our applications with Blaze and Associates, who will assist us with getting those submitted to the state. and hopefully we'll see these things constructed maybe even soon. We can move forward relatively quick on these once we're able to move forward. We don't know if future funding is going to come under this program, but if Prop 68 continues, there may be some additional per capita funds which may in the future that we can look at as well. So any questions?
Yeah. How many parks? Just two of them
Two.
or all three?
Just two. The city only owns two parks. Just Centennial and Sandalwood Park.
Okay.
I think this is a definite great idea. I mean, I'm not one of a gym person, but I think something like that would benefit.
You're not a gym person?
Nah, I don't even like going to places like that. Too crowded.
Yeah. Who's driving your car all the time down there?
I don't know what you're talking about. But no, I think definitely needed. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I think it's a good idea too, and it'll give people a reason to go to the park too. And it's adaptive too, isn't it? For,
Yes, it is for everyone.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody? So you just need a consensus, right?
Yeah, just council approval to move forward with the scope of work.
Okay.
And then we'll come back with, we'll be able to have cost estimates and all of that put together. But basically just allowing us so we can prepare and complete the applications and we'll start putting together our cost estimates.
Definitely move forward.
Yeah.
All right.
If we get a couple more grants, can we think about adding some restrooms, knowing that that's going to attract a lot of people?
Typically at a neighborhood park, you don't add restrooms to neighborhood parks. More regional parks where you have people kind of staying, because neighborhood parks are kind of pretty much attractive to, neighborhoods, the kind of, your surrounding neighborhoods. We know the situation in the city in terms of parks and regional parks and having a separate parks district. We are going to continue to work with the Parks District because we have had discussions with them. They are perfect candidates for Prop 68 funds, for competitive funds. And so we try to, help them along. I've even talked to our grant writers to try to reach out to them to try and see if we can find a way that we can partner with them to apply for these larger park grants to help more on a regional level, where we can provide amenities that are going to attract people from all over the city. And it's hard when you're in a small town, you have a couple neighborhood parks, and so I think parks are going to be a big need, but it's challenging. The funds are very, very challenging. They have to be for new parks.
Okay, sounds good.
Or existing parks for existing new amenities. Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. So I make a motion to approve this.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been approved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Singleton,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilman Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. We'll go to item number 5 now. Discussion, direction on potential action items regarding American Rescue Plan of 2021, ARPA, funding priorities and allocations. Marissa.
Thank you. So the item on the agenda comes with a recommendation to approve premium pay for essential employees as proposed, and then schedule a public workshop to discuss additional funding priorities. To date, the city of Coalinga has received $637,387 in COVID-related funds outside of the ARPA funding. There's a list of items that council approved from that funding. We have mortgage and utility assistance that is still going on right now. There is still money available. We also have small business grants. 100% of those funds are still available. And then we received that CARES grant from Fresno County, and at that time we did rental assistance, small business grants, and utility assistance. And then we did the recoupment of the expensed funds within the city related to COVID. The city did not receive $212,358 in CARES Act funding, as it was withheld by the state of California in response to the city's resolution declaring all Coalinga businesses as essential. We are told that the state allocated these funds to pay for that mobile testing unit that you see within the city. Initially, the city was told that we would receive $3.23 million in ARPA funds. However, after the U.S. Department of Treasury modified the formula used to calculate ARPA payments to non-entitlement cities, the city of Coalinga will be receiving $4.1 million. The coverage period is March 3rd, 2021 through December 31st, 2024, meaning this is the period where funds must be allocated and then all funds must be spent by December 31st, 2026. The following is a list of the only allowable uses of the funds. The first is to support public health expenditures by, for example, funding COVID-19 mitigation efforts, medical expenses, behavioral health care, and certain public health and safety staff. The second is to address negative economic impacts caused by the public health emergency, including economic harms to workers, households, small businesses, impacted industries, and the public sector. The third is to replace lost public sector revenue, using this funding to provide government services to the extent of the reduction in revenue experienced due to the pandemic. The fourth is to provide premium pay for essential workers, offering additional support to those who have and will bear the greatest health risks because of their service in critical infrastructure sectors. And the fifth is to invest in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure, making necessary investments to improve access to clean drinking water, support vital wastewater and storm drain infrastructure, and to expand access to broadband internet. Below is a list of cities who have approved or are considering premium pay for essential employees with ARPA funds. The city of Kingsburg approved 5% for all employees. The city of Parlier approved $2,500 for all employees. The city of Reedley approved 5% for all employees. The city of Sanger approved $13 per hour up to a cap of $3,000 for all employees. The city of Lemoore is considering premium pay for all employees with no definitive amount set yet. The city of Mendota approved $13 per hour up to a cap of $12,500 for all employees. The city of Avenel is considering between $14,000 and $16,000 for all employees, and the city of Corcoran already approved $25,000 for all employees, which is the max allowed for premium pay with the ARPA funds. ARPA caps the premium pay allowance at $25,000 per essential employee. The recommended premium pay is $1,000 per month per essential employee for each full month worked from June 1st, 2020 through May 31st, 2021. In order to be eligible, the employee must still be employed with the city as of the date the checks are made payable. This caps premium pay at $12,000 per employee. During the period of June 2020 through May of 2021, all city staff was working on site and not working from home, with the occasional exception of an employee required to quarantine for 10 days after a positive COVID test or exposure or for short-term childcare needs. From May 26, 2020, City Hall was open to the community by appointment, and October 12, 2020, appointments were no longer required for entry. The $1,000 per month premium pay, as recommended, averages out to be $10,604.65 per employee. These payments would be paid through payroll as supplemental wages, which have a total tax rate of 36%, resulting in the average net amount of $6,786.98. The total fiscal impact associated with the premium pay is $912,000 to include all city staff. Elected and appointed officials are not included pursuant to Article 2 of the City of Coalinga Municipal Code unless otherwise directed by the City Council. Of the $912,000, $122,561 must be supported by written justification of how premium pay is responsive to individuals performing essential work during the public health emergency. If the premium pay is approved by council as recommended, this would leave just under $3.2 million to be allocated, as outlined in the bullet points above under the background portion of the staff report, which is only $32,418 less than the initial amount of ARPA funds the city was expecting to receive, which was the $3.23 million. Staff's recommendation is to hold a public workshop for input from the community on how to allocate those remaining funds. The $912,000 cost and premium pay from the $4.1 million in ARPA funds is approximately 22% of the total. Staff does have a list of recommended projects that will be presented during the workshop. I've also been asked recently, why the $1,000 a month is the recommendation. And the reason why that is my recommendation, and I stand by that, is I briefly mentioned earlier how the city does not pay into unemployment insurance. We pay dollar for every claim that's filed. Not counting CARES money for unemployment that was in addition to the standard unemployment amount. The maximum unemployment amount in California is $450 a week, which is what all of our city employees would have gotten had they quit. And the unemployment office was allowing employees to quit due to childcare needs with school closures due to COVID, or if they considered themselves to be at risk with underlying health conditions. So had our employees quit and we would have been paying out dollar for dollar, we would not have been receiving work from them. And we would be paying out about over $1,900 a month per employee to be at home getting unemployment. And so I want everyone to know this is just a recommendation. That's what I do with all staff reports. I make a recommendation. The council may approve it as recommended. You may make changes to it and approve it with changes. You may not approve it. So this is not something that is set in stone that people should feel is expected or entitled. But I did place it on here. I stand by that number. I think it's fair and reasonable. But I respect that not everybody may think that, and everybody should respect whatever decision you make tonight.
Okay, on that, you said that there's still 100% of the businesses, that part for the businesses. Nobody's applied?
I don't know. They don't apply through the city. They apply through self-help. So there may have been some who have applied, but no funds have been expensed yet. So it could be that they're waiting on additional paperwork from them. At the beginning of the summer, I did print out the applications, and then I got a list of businesses within the city with active business licenses with a Coalinga address from Yasmin, and I mailed the applications to every business in Coalinga with a active business license.
There's very strict conditions for them to get that money, and one of the conditions, and which is the biggest hurdle for our local businesses to overcome, is they have to have a 25% decrease in revenue compared to the year before. Well, that's very difficult. I mean, 25% decrease would probably put a lot of these places out of business. And plus we, passed the resolution to keep all businesses essential, so a lot of them stayed open. So it's very difficult to get some of that money unless you had a 25% decrease in revenue. So that's why I think a lot of that money is still in there.
Thank you. Okay, any questions?
So I'm never one to shy away from giving you my opinion. Quit laughing in the back. I've said it before. No one. This isn't going to surprise anybody. I've said it before. I think $12,000 is too much. I think we are a community of very poor people. When we look at the median income of the city of Coalinga, we see that it's $62,000 per household. Now, per household generally means that there's more than one worker in that household, so we break that down into about $31,000 per person. And if we give out $12,000 bonuses, we're giving out about 40% of the income for the average Coalinga worker. For me, I think that's a slap in the face to them. I want you to have a bonus. I think that 12,000 is a little too much. I think 22%, well, close to 25% of the total, one out of every $4 that we're getting from the federal government is going to go to employee bonuses. I think that's too much. I think we just passed $12 or $13 million in bonds that the citizens of Coalinga are going to spend 30 years paying for. 30 years. All of us up here are going to be dead in 30 years.
Not me.
Except for Ron. He's got the bionic heart. He's going to keep going. They're still going to be paying that because of the decisions that we make here. For 30 years, they'll be paying $12 million in bonds. I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair that they have to pay 30 years and then we're giving out a lot of money in bonuses. That's not to say that I don't agree that you guys should get a bonus. I do. I just think that 12,000 is too much for the city that we live in. When we look at other big places like San Diego County, they're not spending 22% of their ARPA funds on bonuses. They're spending 9% of their ARPA funds on bonuses. Most cities are not spending this amount of money on bonuses, and it's a lot of money. $12,000 is a lot of money. Most of us up here worked through this pandemic. State employees got money taken away, then got money back. My wife works at the college. She got furloughed. A lot of people in Coalinga have lost money during this time frame. And when they see that the city's giving out bonuses of this amount, it's a slap in their face. I'm sorry, but it is. I still love y'all. I just approved 13 new cars for you, $150,000 bucket truck. So it isn't a personal attack on city employees. And if anybody's mad, do not be mad at city employees. Be mad at the 5 people up here that you put up here who's voting this one way or the other. These are the people that we should be mad at, not any city employees. If this passes, it's on us. If this doesn't pass, it's on us. This isn't the city employee related. Anyways, so in good conscience, I just cannot vote for a $12,000 bonus and 25% of our funds when we still need many upgrades at the city. We have water systems that are 50 plus years old. We need solar going in soon. We're spending a lot of money on energy. So I'm for a bonus. I'm for about half that probably, with an extra additional bonus if one of the employees got COVID during that time frame. But I cannot vote for $12,000 in bonuses when we have a whole list of projects that we need to take care of in our infrastructure. Still love y'all. I hope you're not mad at me. It's okay if you are, but y'all can talk to me anytime you want to.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Anybody else?
Go ahead.
I think every opinion should be looked at, and I think it's not bad. If it's a no, it's not bad if it's a yes. I myself want to look back in 1983 when we had that devastating earthquake. Who was out there? It was first responders. It was city employees trying to get everything going. At that time, nothing. They didn't get a bonus. They didn't get nothing. I don't want to call this a bonus. I want to call this a thank you. You know, it could be tragedy if somebody gets sick, they take it to their family, one of the youngsters gets sick, and they have to still stay out of work. That would be a tragic. I lived through the 1983, and I seen the devastation that we had in this city. I seen the employees, I seen the officers that were going out there without not even sleeping. Them caring about their sleep didn't go through their head. I mean, I understand it's $12,000, and like Mr. Scott said, not all of it is gonna go to them. But if we kind of have it right now, and I understand we have projects, and that's not their fault that 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, these things weren't getting fixed as they should. That's not the employee's fault. That's just back in the day. Now that this money has been blessed to be given as a way to a thank you, and the way that we're going through this society with this pandemic, I don't think $12,000 is too much for that. I mean, he's not higher than him. He's not higher than him. He's not higher than him. I think with the employee during a rainstorm, who's out there? Who's out there getting wet and almost getting sick? Public Works. Who's out there in emergency? Fire and police department. It's them that keep this city going. A lot of the staff. It's amazing when I walk in this building and I ask, hey, how can we do this resolution? Boom, right there, they drop their job and they're getting to it so it can be formatted at a professional way. I thank them for that. My opinion, it's just a thank you. It's a thank you for that.
Anyone else?
Yeah, what are you classifying this as? Because I know it's not a bonus.
Right. So it's premium pay. So premium pay is generally tied to hours. Premium pay is considered a wage. So I know there's been a lot of confusion, especially on Facebook posts, about how premium pay can be paid. Premium pay is a wage that you can pay to your employees. The reason that it's not recommended at an hourly and it's recommended at a flat dollar amount is because one of the things that is recommended is to do it as a flat dollar amount, because if you did it as a percentage, then those who made more would receive more in premium pay. And doing it as a flat dollar amount by month rather than by hour ensures that, like, our police technicians who work 19 hours a week, or some of the temps that we have working in Public Works, are receiving the same amount, versus only if they're working 19 hours a week, that a less amount because of the hours they work. So no, technically it's not considered a bonus. It's premium pay, which is generally attached to hours worked.
And the same amount for part-time and full-time?
That's how it is written, yes.
But you had to work
I mean,
those certain months. I'm sorry.
it's a easy but difficult situation. This opportunity, even though it's came in tragedy, it's a great opportunity to have because it's not affected by the city. It's money that was given to the city to do what she felt needed to be done. So the only main question, because people out here say yes, they say no, they say why, they say how. It's not for me to make my personal decision on what the city should do with the money. I always take it as what the people I speak to, what do they say? They put me in this position, I speak for them. To speak for myself, I'd say give it to them. I don't want to be mean, but I could care less because it doesn't come out of my pocket. But the people out there, the ones that put me in this place, have a different ideology on how it should be done. And so for that, I can't put a price on what they do. I can't put a price on what he does compared to what you do. Nobody can. Nobody can. Nobody can say because he's a chief, he should get more because he's out there, or because he's out there in the rain, he should get more. I don't know how to put a price on it. I know people say it's too much, but what is not enough? If you say give them half, is that still equatable? It's something because it's nothing that was there before. So yeah, it's something, but to put a price on it is the juggling point. And as a city manager, no disrespect at all, I'd probably done the same thing. Take what is extra and give it to my workers. That's the bottom line. So it's up for, like you said, us five to determine if that amount is viable. Yeah, sure. Or if that amount should be adjusted. In some cases, some people say higher because the fire PD workers were out there directly, because you can't tell the PD because the guy got COVID, let him go. We'll get him when he doesn't have COVID. You can't do that. You can't tell the chief and his guys because the guy in the back got COVID when you go to CSH to pick him up. Don't get him. He's got COVID. Whoa. He has to follow through with that. That's automatic. And people on the other hand say, well, the ladies behind the glass, they're behind the glass, but they're still here. COVID isn't that smart to say there's glass, I can't go in there. It just doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't happen like that. So to put a price on this, I don't know how. I mean, should we? Maybe. Should we? Maybe not. And that's the biggest argument, debate on how much do we, I don't say give them, how much have they earned? Because to say give doesn't mean that you didn't do nothing to get it, but you did correctly a heck of a lot to get to that point. So it's not a bonus. It ain't a gift certificate. It's what you guys earned and still working. But to put a price on it, I don't know. I don't know how to put a price on that. Mayor?
Okay, now, okay. Scott?
Adam, one thing I respect about you most is your financial responsibility to the people in the community. One question I do want to ask is, you can't give dollars and cents on employee salaries and this and that, but you throw out that the average median income is $62,000. How many of our employees fall underneath that median income? Yes, there's one end that makes quite a bit, other end makes middle, but this will really benefit those who are in the 30,000, 35,000, 40,000 income. And again, it's a gift. So I mean, how many of the people that are going to benefit from this can it really impact and make a impact in their life? I mean, if I could do it to my employees, I absolutely would. And if I can digress 1 second, you asked about that money for the businesses that hadn't been touched, and you mentioned the fact that it's the 25%. I can tell you, we dropped almost 80% of our income in that year. But when you drop that kind of income, you got to start cutting things out just to even make it to the other end. And that list of things that they require, a couple of those things get dropped just to survive to the end. If I could get that, qualify for that, and then get those things back, I absolutely would. But a lot of these businesses, I know the reason they can't apply is there may be one thing on there that they're not current on, or one thing on there that they need to get caught up on. And that's what limits those businesses from applying for all the money that's out there. If they had offered that 8 months ago, we probably would have been fine. But now, a year and a half after the fact, you got to make cuts. You got to take out the act, get down to the bare bones basically to get to the other side. So that's why it isn't that I know there's money out there and I know there's a lot of businesses that need it, but I also know, when it became available, a lot of it, some of the requirements they have are very strict and some of us just couldn't meet those. But again, as far as the money, for the ARPA, respect what your guys' decision is. And I like the fact, Adam, we can always hold you to bring up the money and hold the council accountable. But again, the people that are going to benefit from this the most, I believe, are in that low income, medium income, average income you're talking about. And I just, I want that brought out too. Yes, some of those that may not benefit as much will get it as well. But the ones that really need it and will help out, I think they deserve it. But thank you.
Scott, could you step there for a second?
Yes.
When you said that, what you said about your business and stuff, I wanted, if you're representing the chamber right now, I mean, you're representing yourself right now, but I want to ask you if you would represent the chamber right now and go to Sacramento with us and tell them that. I mean, because there's a lot of businesses that are just like you. They can't apply for these things. So let's get them changed. Can you do that with me? I mean, I'll go with you, or Adam, I'm sorry. Adam will go with you, or any of us will go with you. And we'll try to get some of this stuff changed so we can get that money for these people. I mean, things change all the time. And if times change, I mean, we got to take care of that. And we can't just let it go. They say it's this thing, but this is why we can't do it.
Yeah.
So let's
I'll
try
help
to.
any
We'll
way I
talk to our
can.
representatives first, and then I'll get with you and see what we can do. And maybe we can represent Coalinga and go get some more money for us.
Again, I just know there's a lot of businesses that were suffering and needed
Exactly.
it. And the only reason we made it through were some of the decisions that you all made.
Exactly.
But again, I know some of these bigger 35,000 grant, 40,000 here, we can apply for that. And I know all people hear about is all this grant money that's available to small businesses. But some of the loopholes they make you go through, some of the requirements, we could have made it back in June of last year. But after a year and a half of this, it's some of us don't necessarily qualify at this moment. So that's the only thing. I just heard you question why none of it had been claimed yet. And I don't know why some haven't, and again, I know several that have applied and it may be in the process, but I do know that that's why some of us haven't, is because we've had to make tough, and it wasn't just, and they're just the 25%. Like I said, we submitted our stuff to the city when they, they graciously granted that 5,000 back when, and we qualify for that. But I mean, the paper we submitted showed we were down like 78% from the year before. So I mean, it was tough times for everybody. But again, anything I can do, Mayor, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now it's my turn. I think this was all waiting on my decision because we had a 2-2 vote last time. But right now, I've been here a long time, and seeing these people out here, I mean, it's hot. Excuse me. You get emotional. I mean, we haven't been able to do this in a long time. We've always told these people, no, I'm sorry, we can't afford it. And we couldn't afford it. But now we can afford it. We're not giving them the whole 25,000. We said, our city manager said half of that. I mean, I'm saying, let's give it to them. I mean, they deserve it. I mean, these guys will do anything for you. I mean, these guys and girls. I mean, if it wasn't for the girls inside the office, these guys wouldn't be working. I mean, because the girls put out all the work for them too. So it's not just the guys that are out in the field. It's a little bit of everybody. And it's hard. I mean, you get to know these people. And I take it offense too. I have people that I'm related to that work for the city. I've never put them first with this, with the other employees. I've never done that. And I'm telling you right now, I've never done that. And I've had people that are related to me die because they're working for this city and then they have a heart attack and they died in the hospital here. I mean, I take that as a offense big time. This city, all the employees, when you get them together, they're like a family. They take care of each other too. And I'm up here right now. I'm kind of like the dad right now because I am the mayor, but I'm going to take care of my people. You know, I say vote for it. I say yes on it. And I'm sorry I got emotional and everything, but that's how I feel. And I think right now, this is it's not a bonus, it's a premium. And these guys are going to hate it next year when they pay their taxes. I mean, because anytime you get more, when I retired, I got a little bit of extra money too, but God, it killed me in taxes. And so you better say, if you get this money, you better save for your taxes too, guys. I mean, it sounds like it's all great and spend all this money, but you're going to have to save for your taxes too. And I hope this passes. I want to thank all you guys for what you do. I mean, you take it personal. I mean, everybody I talk to come around. I don't know if it's just because I'm the mayor or what, but anytime I ask for anything, you guys will take care of me. I mean, it's great. And like I've had to call the ambulances, the police department shows up, everybody shows up for every little thing. My neighbors have called them. Public Works, they fix everything for you. You know, so this is not we're giving them anything extra. I mean, I feel that this is in the past, we haven't been able to do it. And that the state finally gave us some money to do something with, you know, that we can make our own choice on it. They're not saying that we have to do this and we're not doing this, but there's over $3 million that we can still use for everybody else. That's a lot of money. And we can get a lot of stuff done with that $3 million. And remember, we still have $4 million, not counting that we have in reserve, right?
Jasmine said yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So we have $7 million in reserve. I mean, we're not going to spend it right now if we count that other $3 million in there. So that's a big reserve, guys. I mean, it's not premium, and I say give it to these people. They need it, and let's take care of them. Yes, sir.
This is a one-time deal. I
One-time
don't think we've ever seen this before, and I don't think we'll ever see it again. This is an opportunity to reward employees who are there when you need them. You're paying them to be there when you need them and do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. This is recognition. You want to reward and recognize your employees at all times. As far as Councilman Atkinson saying we should use the money for all these other projects, all these other things on our list, that's an excellent consideration. That makes sense. That's part of the data that you have to consider in making your decisions. Making decisions is part of your elected duties. However, on those projects, there's always money. You will always have projects. The projects don't go away. That's the business of cities. We're always going to need water pipe. We're always going to need valves. We're always going to need a new water system. We're always going to need a new fire station. We're always going to need new vehicles. The government doesn't necessarily come up with this kind of a rescue plan to do all those things. You get that through taxes. You get that through grants, special funding, special tax rates, special assessments. But again, this is a never before and probably never again opportunity to reward your employees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. What was your name?
My name is Tom Dominguez.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. And just one thing to the city employees out here, because last time we sat here and I said, let's hold it over till Ron got back. Yeah, I saw the faces out there. Yeah, I saw the evil eyes coming this way. But this is what I wanted for him to be able to speak on, because once it's done, I'm not saying you're gonna come back to the next meeting, but you probably will be back to the next meeting. So to give this young man an opportunity to speak on his city, because he's been here since Father Time. So you have to give him that. You have to. I mean, and I wasn't trying to do that, say, well, maybe he'll cry, but his emotions are going to get the best of him because he's doing something that has never been done before. And God prayed that it will never have to be done again through a pandemic. So that's all I wanted to do. I wasn't saying you guys don't deserve it, kick rocks, beat it. No, I wanted him to address you, to give his verbiage on what his true feelings were about the city, which he so loves. So that's all I was doing. That's all I was doing.
So you're picking on me. No. We've been friends a long time. And Adam and I are friends. We're still friends. No. Okay, do we have a vote or a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made by Councilman Horn, seconded by Councilman Ramirez. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
So I'm gonna stand by what I said earlier. I have to vote my conscience, and my conscience is a no. However, you're gonna get your money, and I'm glad that you are the beneficiaries of people who will outvote me. I'm happy for you all. I really am. I'm happy for you all. I swear to goodness, I am. I don't hate you all. I'm happy. Really. I'm glad you're going to be the beneficiaries of the council outvoting me. So when this meeting's over, I'm going to go out there and shake every one of your hands because I still love you all. Oh, I voted no, by the way.
Mayor Pro Tem Singleton,
I vote yes.
Mayor Ramsey.
I vote aye. How did you vote? Okay. I vote yes. Okay. Well, congratulations, employees, and thank you for everything you guys do.
I got a quick question.
A question?
How soon will this go out following payroll?
It likely will not be the next paycheck. It'll probably be within about 30 days.
Until the governor cancels it. Probably. Knock on wood. Okay, number 7, announcements, city manager announcements.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone that we have the Lisa project coming up in October. That is October 14th through the 20th. There are flyers on the door of City Hall if you haven't seen them yet. And that will be taking place here in the council chambers.
Okay, city council members? Anybody? Okay, pardon me?
Yeah, I got
Sorry. So Mary's shouting from the back. We have breakfast with the chiefs the first Tuesday of each month at Cafe 101 at 9 a.m. The public is invited to attend. It's generally myself, the police chief and the fire chief, sometimes the warden from Pleasant Valley State Prison, and sometimes the commander from the local highway patrol office. The public's invited to attend. We sit around, everybody buys their own breakfast, and we talk, and you can ask questions. It's just a very relaxed, casual environment.
I had one thing for Sean. Can you get some information on Forest and Truman, right there in the curve on the west side of the road, underneath the power line, the sidewalk that hasn't been finished? It's still not finished, and it's been what, year and a half, 2 years?
I know it.
It's an open spot.
The Truman project. That's where the power drop was supposed to come down, and they moved it. And they were waiting on the power drop to put it back in. So that's part of the waiting on the contract.
Is that hazard on us or PG&E?
Okay, I have no announcements except for the September 11th. Everybody make sure you go there. So any future agenda items? Okay. I have one agenda item. It's not an agenda item, but it's a request that we get the city manager a new computer. She didn't get computers when we got ours, and she still has one of the older ones, and everybody knows what happens with the older ones, so I'd like to make, well, she can do it on her own, but I want to see a new one when you get back. Any other future agenda items? Here it is. We do have two items for closed session. Conference with labor negotiations. It's with the general employees and non-representative employees. And number two is conference with anticipated legal litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9, case. Are we going to have any announcements?
Probably not.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and don't forget September 11th. We are adjourned.